I just broke because it's too many coming at me so many ways, telling me they can't find nobody for me to stay at. My brother just got killed. I got people constantly, just testing me, and and I'm trying to walk the straight line. So I start fighting. I just gave up. I was ready to go back to Angola. Well, my name is Eric Kegler. I was born to Broadband Caption. My father's name was Willie Caption. Mm-hmm. And we used to stay in South Baton Rouge. So, the household I grew up in, it was basically a drug-infested house. And my mom and dad used to fight all day, all night. And, but it used to take effect of me because I used to be scared of my dad. But as I got older, my mom and dad separated. And I was caught up in the midst of a custody battle with her and my baby brother and me. So, and my dad, he used to, one time he stood over me behind me and shot a shotgun over my head, saying like he's shooting at a squirrel in a tree. But I was wondering what was going through my daddy's mind when he stood behind me with that shotgun and shot it twice right over my head. And, as I grew older, I was getting beaten by, everybody, my mama did. And she used to just stood there and just watching. Mm-hmm. So I learned, I ain't never had no friends. I used to always learn to keep everything deep inside. And I'm talking about for a fight, and I used to run from fights. But as I got older, I let my anger take over me because I let everything build up. I ain't had nobody to talk to. Nothing. All I had was my dad. It was beating on me. My dad used to leave me in the house. I was, in elementary school. I tell everybody today, y'all blessed. Because when I was growing up, we ain't had no washing machine. My daddy was too full of drugs to literally go to a laundromat. Yeah. I had to go take the clothes and put in the bathtub, fill it with water, pour detergent on it, and get in there and stomp it clean. And I used to rinse it out with my hands best I could and go and hang it out. I was in elementary school. My dad had taught me, he made me go in there and cook because he was too high to cook for his kids, so I had to learn. And I got tired of beating. I got tired of abusing. Mm-hmm. And I ran away from home. I want to say about 8. I was about 7 or 8. I was in elementary school then. And I used to hang all the way down Holland Road by Burger King and just shopping centers every night. So a little dude told my mama where I was at. She came and got me, and I'm thinking I'm safe. But she brought me back to my dad. My dad said, I'm going to beat you again. I'm going to beat you. Yeah. So my mama left, and I came back to, I went out the front door. I came in the front door, went out the back door, and I jumped the fence again. So as I was sitting down eating one day, and a detective walked up, but it was a nice lady with a suit on. I ain't thinking nothing of it. So she was like, young man, if I sit and eat with you, I said, I don't got no problem, lay on my table. Mm-hmm. So as we went to talk, she would ask me, like, what you doing in the street right now at school? And I ain't had no answer for it. And then she finally told me she was a detective. Showed me her badge. Mm-hmm. I wanted to run, but she like, don't run. She took me to this place. And as I looked around, I didn't feel comfortable there. And I called my mom's, and she finally came and got me. It wasn't long after that, I was back at my dad's. So I used to get beaten by him, and social work, the child cover service, child protective service used to come by my house. My dad used to make me put on long sleeve clothes to cover the bruises. And he used to threaten me, like, if I tell him anything that happened in the household, he was going to abuse me again. So I was scared to death. He must tell him anything. And I'm like, I am okay. Everything is okay. So, as I got older, bro, I just, turned to the streets, using drugs, selling drugs, and, fighting, taking, it's just everything I was down for, in and out of prison. But, it's basic. It is.
So what was that pivotal moment when your relationship with God, or when God entered your life?
That's crazy, because through my life of trial tribulations, God always had somebody in my life. But they was taking me to this church, but they was taking me to that church. And I used to escape and go to this place called Buffalo Wing Express. That's where I felt the most safe at when I was a child. And as I grow older, when I came to terms with God, it's when I went stay with my godmother. And she used to go to the church. And as I was sitting in the church, I'm just sitting in the back. I just want to be left alone, just sitting there listening to the man preaching. So my sister, Carol, go up there and let the man pray for you. I'm like, no, not God, leave me alone. So they're like, go. So I finally got tired and went up there. And as I went up there, the man stopped his whole service. Now, picture this. I was a little boy. I'm talking about at least 20-something years of span. The last time I seen this man. And the moment I stood up and walked to the front of that church, he stopped and said, I remember this boy when he was a little child. So I was kind of myself. And I needed a job. He gave me one. So I worked for him for a minute, but I was kept going to church. I wasn't feeling the connection that that you're supposed to feel when you move by the word. And they was going to another church called Church Per Minister. And I was once baptized there. But at the same time, I wasn't, wasn't feeling it. And I turned back to the streets.
How did you end up coming to Elevate?
Well, I got locked up in prison. I want to say that it saved my life. Because I was really wilding out because, my oldest brother just got killed. And, behind the female. And I just left him like a few seconds. I heard the gunshots and it's just crazy because when I heard the gunshot, I stopped and I looked in that direction. And, that was my best friend. So, but as I got caught in the streets, I got accused for a charge. And as I went to jail, and none of my families couldn't give me a lawyer, all of them turned their backs on me. So I ain't had no choice but to go through it. My sentences as an innocent man.
Yeah.
And to rely on people in jail to fight my case. I found out the hard way that they do it. They tell you that they can help you with your case, try to get some money out your family, but to get you barred out of court. That means, well, you can't whatever you file, you will not get back in court at all. You're just going to do flat time. And that's what happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
I got lied to, and the dude messed up my case and cost me 22 and a half years in prison.
Yeah.
So during my course of my release date, none of my families wouldn't take me in. All of them turned their back on me. And so all the ladies kind of loved me because I was one of the respected fellas around there. So the lady told me, Eric, that we're going to try their best to get you home.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to the director over the class of dealing with sex offenders, and he told me, bro, I could sense in you that it's not you and you're not a repeat offender. I'm going to do my power to get you home.
Mm-hmm.
So I wilded out. My baby brother just got killed. And I was fighting.
Mm-hmm.
I gave up. Nobody cared about me. That's all I had in my mind. Nobody cared about me. I'm walking the straight line. I'm trying to avoid, you surrounded by hundreds of different personalities. And you don't even know when my personal click, you want to have your knife to protect yourself in prison. But then you got to think about your freedom.
Yeah.
What's more important to you? So once my baby brother got killed bad, I didn't have nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And so it took my sanity to control my emotions. And I just broke because, it's too many coming at me so many ways. And they telling me they can't find nobody for me to stay at. Then my brother just got killed. And, I got people constantly, just testing me and, and I'm trying to walk the straight line. So I started fighting. I just gave up.
Yeah.
I was ready to go back to Angola.
Yeah.
And so one day, Miss Susan called me in the office. And she like, Eric, what's wrong? Why are you doing this? You want to give your life away, man, you're right at the door. And she finally gave me tell me she got an address for me. So she said she's going to call and talk. So a couple of days later, I am talking to Tina on the phone. And we communicated. And she told me she would love to have me there. But I kind of sensed okay. But I just brushed it off.
Mm-hmm.
That's another false hope. I went back to the dormitory, walked around. So I had a kitchen job. And this lady used to always pick snacks on me. I'd be by myself washing I'm talking about dumping 500 trays, spraying 500 trays or more, and washing them and stacking by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I got tired of her picking with me. The dude used to just run to a lot of her about things, so they gonna have to work back there in the scullery.
Yeah. And
I made it my business. If she tell me anything crazy, I'm like, we going back there and go. But that next day, she ain't coming to work.
Yeah.
And they had another lady worked in the kitchen we was cool with. So I was straight.
Mm-hmm.
And we get a phone call to the kitchens and tell Eric come to the dormitory. And when Dad get that call, that means you got contraband in your locker box. And it shook you down.
Mm-hmm.
So as I was going back to the dorm, she's like, bro, Eric, they need you to give them a phone number so they could call your people. I'm like, for what? I'm like, stop playing with me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not finna play with you.
Yeah.
She's like, Eric, I'm seriously not playing. They trying to get you a phone as you go home. I'm like, I'm telling you, if I go down to that office and find out you're lying, you're going to be bad today. So I finally went to the office and I talked to the warden. And she's like, baby, you at the wrong place. He got to go to the dress out place. And that's when I came to a crossroad. And as I came over there, Tina was like, you start coming with me.
Yeah.
So that's how I started coming to Elevate.
So what has your experience been here at this ministry?
Love. Unconditional. It changed me. It took works. Ain't nothing gonna happen overnight.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, at the house, I was dealing with demons. And like I was told you, I hold everything deep inside of me. It's hard for me to talk to people.
Yeah.
And every time I used to come to this church when I first started coming here, I was greeted by Brother KC. And the first thing he did was call me by my whole name. And I had to stop and look at him like, where you know me from? He like, bro, I know your mom and your daddy, but like, where you know me from?
Yeah.
But I felt welcome. And then I'll be able to go back to the house. It's like everybody was just attacking me. That's what I was feeling, attacking. You don't know what I was doing. I was getting attacked. And I come to church. And every time Apostle be preaching, he stopped and just like in the midst of his service, he just tell me how to solve my problem. Everything gonna be okay. And as I grow more and more, I become more as a family to me. Because I never, ever experienced love in my entire life. I always was, trying to defend myself, have negativity come my way. And I be listening to my brothers and, like possibly saying, you got to start to live your life. You got to let go. But it's hard. The more you talk about it, it brings hurtful memories back.
Yeah.
That when we try to bury it and forget.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say we all perfect. We can forget, we can forgive, but how?
Yeah.
How? And at this moment, I don't feel, when I'm outside, church ground, my house, work, whatever, I feel lost.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm at church, I feel love.
Yeah.
I feel belong. Through the course of my journey, I thank God for my family Elevate. Because something that somebody told me helps me get through my trial tribulation.
Mm-hmm.
I lost my child when I was in prison. I ain't never talked to her one time. And it seemed like I asked God, why me?
Yeah.
And I made a movie. It said all the good people die, but all the bad people survive.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, why all my brothers had to die and not me?
Yeah.
My mama loved them to death,
Yeah.
but couldn't stand me.
Yeah.
Now, I'm all she got left.
Yeah. Yeah. So Elevate has become your family.
Become my salvation.
Yeah.
It become my strength.
Yeah.
And I'm not wrong when I say this, and I hope I'm not offending no one.
Mm-hmm.
I've been at least about 5, 6 churches.
Yeah.
I never felt the love that I felt here.
Yeah.
And it's so overwhelming, bro. And it's just like, bro, I tell everybody, what church you go to, I tell them, elevate, elevate, elevate. And somebody in this church, they know. And my pastor, man, he's like a tree that branches and keep on branches and keep on branching out.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't touch so many lives that people that you never thought of.
Yeah.
And this is my family. And this is my strength. And, deep down, and it's just no matter what I go through the course of a day, I think about something that somebody at this church tell me to help me think before I act.
Yeah. Amen. Well, we love you, brother. And thank you for sharing your story.
It's my pleasure.
I got to give you a hug. Come on.